Genghis Khan unified the Mongol tribes through a combination of military strategy and psychological tactics, eliminating adversaries like Jamukha to assert his dominance. This foundation paved the way for his expansive conquests. The Mongols strategically permitted survivors from conquered cities to disseminate harrowing tales of destruction, leveraging fear as a weapon. This approach often ensured swift surrenders without conflict, as seen in battles like Bukhara. Genghis Khan employed a sophisticated intelligence network, known as the YAM system, which enabled rapid information exchange. This innovation allowed him to manipulate enemy perceptions and secure strategic advantages. Utilizing tactical deception, such as the feigned retreat strategy, the Mongols frequently outmaneuvered their enemies, achieving significant victories. This tactic illustrated their military ingenuity and effectiveness. Genghis Khan's legal code imposed harsh penalties for various offenses, ensuring loyalty through fear and imposing strict discipline among his ranks. This approach reflected his overarching governance strategy. Public executions were not merely punitive measures, they served as spectacles of power. Such brutal methods instilled fear in the populace, effectively deterring dissent and reinforcing the Mongols' approach to justice. One of the most notorious strategies employed was the 7 steps of destruction, which involved the systematic execution of populations based on profession and age. This ruthless method resulted in the deaths of thousands each day. Central to Mongol control was the principle of collective punishment, where entire neighborhoods faced devastation if one household resisted. This created a pervasive culture of fear among the conquered. Genghis Khan's own kin were not spared from his rigid justice, illustrating his belief that no one was above the law. Instances of public humiliation and execution for suspected disloyalty even affected family members. The psychological warfare aspect of Mongolian executions was meticulously orchestrated. Public displays of brutality served to instill terror among enemies, often leading to cities surrendering without any resistance. Special units known as Yasaki were trained in execution and torture techniques, exemplifying the Mongol military's commitment to terror as a tool. These dedicated units reinforced the effectiveness of their brutal tactics. Archaeological discoveries of mass graves corroborate contemporary accounts of Mongolian atrocities, reinforcing the historical narrative of their brutal reign. These findings validate the concept of the architecture of atrocity. The Mongols developed a systematic protocol for elimination, referred to as counting death, which aimed to instill fear and spread terror among the conquered populations. Genghis Khan's campaigns targeted cultural centers and scholars, irreparably impacting Islamic medical science and erasing vital historical records in the territories they conquered. Innovative technologies for siege warfare, including the thundering ram and incendiary projectiles, were crafted by the Mongols, thereby enhancing both their military effectiveness and psychological warfare capabilities. The creation of ghost-crying arrows generated terrifying sounds that compelled defenders to abandon their positions, further illustrating the psychological tactics employed by Mongol forces. The Mongols' methodical approach to counting casualties, including severing ears from corpses for record-keeping, exemplified their structured and fear-driven military strategy. The environmental consequences of Mongolian campaigns, such as the destruction of irrigation systems, contributed to significant climate shifts and agricultural decline in once fertile regions. Historical figures like Timur Taman and Napoleon studied Mongolian tactics, underscoring the lasting influence of their military strategies on future leaders. The Mongols demonstrated that fear can be a formidable weapon. Genghis Khan's tactics included the precise dismantling of hierarchies, epitomized by the brutal Great Hunt for resistant rulers, reflecting his relentless quest for power. Employing strategic hostage-taking and forced marriages, the Mongols maintained control over conquered peoples, showcasing their sophisticated political tactics designed to ensure compliance. Captured nobles were subjected to humiliating rituals, such as wearing their ceremonial robes backwards and performing menial tasks. This symbolic degradation was meticulously documented by historians. Mongol commanders further utilized psychological warfare by forcing captured high-ranking officials to perform religious ceremonies in reverse while donning their robes backwards, thereby diminishing their cultural significance. Young noble captives were raised amidst Mongol culture, often forsaking their original identities and serving as administrators. This practice resulted in a generation of leaders culturally displaced and aligned with Mongol control.